Gem Collectors with Shawn. Welcome to it. I am Shawn, and we've got, of course, an exciting show, as always, planned for you. And I don't know, some of the fun just with the team beforehand is always a great lead up to, you know, starting the show off with a fired up, good attitude, good mood. And we were talking about, and for the moment, we have Latif behind keyboards, so to speak, all the electronics there, Dave on camera, and believe it or not, for the entire show, yes, we have the Raven on board. And so she's not going to sneak off like she often does and helps out all the neighboring people. Lots of things you haven't seen before, as was last week's show, so we're going to try to get to that. And there was a smaller number, for whatever reason, and I think people actually are still trying to find me in the comment section. So for those, if you're just listening, which I can tell by the number of viewers that actually watch this show, if all of you in our family that discuss this amongst ourselves and that partake in the comments wonder how items can disappear that you don't think you have that much competition for, well, you know, I think you can see at different times how many viewers we actually have versus the number of people that partake in the amazing trivia answers that you stand a high chance of winning, especially over the course of every week and in time. I mean, I was looking at the records chart that actually keep of the winners and who won what, because, you know, often like to keep the items fresh and new and one of a kind. Many of you have won 10 and 12 times, some of you more, depending on how long and how often you've played. So if you have not played the trivia at the end of almost every show, unless for some other reason I don't do the trivia, which is very rare that I don't, we ask a couple questions, and if there's a number of the same people to get it right, then we kind of put the numbers in the hat, so to speak, and draw the lucky winner from that. And it's pretty magical that we have found out how a particular free item goes right to the person that kind of suits their need the most. One of the best ones was our resident family geologist, George, who we haven't heard from. Let's hear from you, George. He won an ironstone carving of a bear, and he happened, totally unbeknownst to me, happened to live on, I think it was Bear Mountain Road. So things like that, and that's cool. That adds a real special something to the show. I was going to bring in the voltmeter today, but we're going to do that soon, and that's where you're actually going to we're going to measure and look at how much energy the piezoelectric property of certain crystals can have, from quartz to tourmaline to apatite. I'm also going to show you, because I measured Raven's and I measured mine, of when I hold the anode and the cathode just with my fingers, just lightly, how much, and I have a really accurate, meaning expensive, voltmeter. And no, I didn't need it to be that good for household use. But for the geek in me, I used it as an excuse to get one that measures out to the thousandth and beyond place, you know, millivolts. Yeah, that's the funny word you don't often hear about. It measures in millivolts. So what I did was I took those and just regular pressure, just enough to hold them, but then I squeezed on the cathode and anode, and I watched the voltmeter go up considerably. So first you think, okay, squeezing on them is if the metal was a quartz crystal, then it is the pressure you're applying to the quartz crystal creating the higher voltage, right? But that doesn't react the same when you're talking about a conductive piece of metal, whatever it might have been made up of. What it does apply to, though, is how many times have I told you what your bones are actually chemically made up of? And it is what is known as a hydroxyapatite. It's basically an apatite with a hydroxy compound to it. So, a hydroxy molecule added to the chemical formula. So what I was actually squeezing on, by squeezing either side of that, was the bones, and I talked about that, how they're really starting to experiment and do more and more of that type of therapy, using pressure on people's bones to create a natural shock. We already know with those tins, little things for back and part that you put in that put electric shock into your body, but there's ways to develop measurable electric amounts within the body itself. So anyway, I find those kind of things interesting and relative, because this is where the metaphysical side to rocks and minerals comes in, even to us non-believers from many years ago, back in the hippie days, where a lot of the hippies were aware of some of these different things, but it was kind of it didn't even become until the New Age era, kind of outside of that hippie realm. Hippies were more about mushrooms and eating, foraging for living off the land, not so much as using stones for healing and whatnot. So the New Age era is what really enlightened a lot of people to and assigning properties to and certain different rocks to chakras. And I say assigning because something new would come in on the market, and they'd create these things that it was supposedly good for, without, I think, having had a historical reference going back thousands of years, like some of the rocks and minerals do. Some of them have been used for a long, long time. And it is those that I find there is a very real possibility for there to be a scientific side to the metaphysical side that then ties it all in together and leaves you with thinking, yeah, there might be really something to this. And certainly the piezoelectric properties of different minerals would be something that would be something that could actually play a physical part in healing and whatnot. So yeah, I have over time, I could tell you some other real stories when I had the store, people coming in and picking up rocks and minerals off my shelf, and just, wow, they could just sense a energy in them, and they proved it to me through different means, but that's the stories for another day. But it was through those kind of seeing is believing events that have made me turn a corner on certain minerals. Now I'm wondering if I can't take one of my radioactive mineral specimens and slap it down on one of my moles, since I don't have enough mole money, and see if we just can't, zap it away. I'm just kidding. No one try that at home. But sometimes I am trying to actually, believe it or not, yeah, I'm kind of crazy when it comes to like that. No, eccentric. I have that pure U-238 plus some other really highly reactive minerals in, and I say reactive, it's better than saying, radioactive, just reactive. No, and putting them with perfectly clear white topaz, and seeing if I can't make any of them a slightest color blue. I don't know, I'm also trying to put the spark of life into Frankenstein's brain. No, into some other what they call REE or RE minerals, minerals that contain rare earth elements, and it is often minerals that have components, rare earth element components to them that can be like jump started in their kicking off their radioactive nature by being close to other stuff. But anyway, all that you need a Geiger counter for. Not recommended to try any of it otherwise, and to always wash your hands, and basically not to be attempted by adults less mature than others. That would probably count me out of it. Better go throw away my acids. All right, let's get started on the comments and the, let's see who the winner was. All right, so the question to the trivia was last week, and you know, this is where I even gave you some, I think, hints to the fact that to listen to the words carefully, because I asked what two elements from the black and orange coatings on the Diamond Hill quartz, what two elements created the orange and the black? So you didn't have to necessarily assign one with the other. It was just two elements. All right, so I guess we should probably have a conversation about what's an element and what's a molecule or a compound. And but basically an element are the building blocks of everything that you see and touch and feel on this earth, including what you smell. And I mean, you know, we all know the difference between, well, the air we breathe, which we know contains oxygen, but here's the real big fooler. A lot of people have no idea that the air we breathe is only 28% oxygen. You know, that is what sustains us, but it's only 28% of the air we breathe. Other than that, if nitrogen was of use to us, we would actually be nitrogen breathers, you know? But it's of no use to us. So it's oxygen that we need. At only 28%, no wonder the first thing that an EMT does is slap that oxygen mask on you and juice you to a 100% oxygen. And to be truthful, I work with oxygen, of course, with the torch, and, you know, medical grade or that kind of grade, there's really not much difference. Oxygen is oxygen. But anyway, they charge a lot more for one because it makes a difference, especially when I was young and needed a kickstart in the morning. Yeah, there was no, well, you know what? So 100% pure oxygen versus 28%, how can it not make a difference in the body's needs and helping it out? So if you weren't aware of that, that should make a lot of sense to you now as to why oxygen is so important when you know, you see this oxygen mask put on, or the plane drops below 10,000 feet suddenly. What falls down is an oxygen mask. So yeah. Now, we talked about rust, which was a that yellowish coating, and that's what we mostly talked about. And we always talk about how many times iron oxides, because we have so many different ones, and so many ones that have, you know, are associated or very close to being just a pure oxide. So, you know, you can have an FeO2, you can have an Fe2O3, you can have, you know, like aluminum oxide, which is ruby and sapphire, it's Al2O3, which is, you know, 2 atoms of the element aluminum and 3 atoms of the element oxygen. Put those two together, you have a molecule of corundum, aka ruby and sapphire. So oftentimes when we talk about the oxides, whether it's goethite, limonite, which is a mixed kind of a mixed bag of the iron oxides, You have hematite, which is most commonly and most closely related to rust, which is usually just a kind of a simple FeO2. You have oxides with an OH, with a hydroxide attached to them, and you have just a whole group of them. So you can, when you lump iron oxides together, you kind of lump them all together. So that's why the question I asked was, what element? Okay, so what two elements form the black and the orange coating on Diamond Hill quartz? All right, so we'll cover the answer to the second part, the black coatings. And so many times, people just in a general answer say manganese oxide. Manganese oxide is also very much like iron oxide. It has many other similar, whether they're polymorphs or, very similar nature type of oxides. Many people in the dendrites just like to group them all together and say it was pyrolusite as a manganese oxide. And in the actual case is they're not at all. And if you actually look at some of the name of the manganese oxide varieties, I can't even pronounce some of them. They're ones I'll never hear. They're ones that you can only be able to tell the difference under very, very scientific means and equipment. So to group the the manganese oxides together, you can just say manganese oxide because you cannot specifically say it is a particular one. The one thing it is been found out not to be is the one that it's most commonly called, and being pyrolusite. So just a little extra tidbit there. So again, the answer we were looking for, what elements? We were looking for manganese and iron. The elements, no other combination of that would make it a molecule or otherwise. All right, the second question was, what makes an anhydro bubble? All right, so what makes up actually I read the rest of this. What makes up a two-phase anhydro bubble? And a lot of you did really well on this. It was simple. Just not, you didn't have to name any particular type of gas or any particular type of liquid, but the answer just being a gas and a liquid. That's a two-phase, and then extra was what makes up a three-phase anhydro bubble, or a three-phase inclusion. And remember, emeralds will have those, so it's really interesting. And I have an amazing, and I guess I'll bring it in sometime. I have an amazing sapphire. It's a cabochon star sapphire, and it is a three-phase inclusion. It actually has a nice size bubble with a liquid, kind of a viscous, it's kind of a thicker liquid, so it's not just water. And inside that is a crystal of mica. And you can see this under simple 10 power. It's big enough under 10 power magnification. And it is the most stunning one. And it is in the middle of, I guess it's probably a 11 by 9, maybe a 12 by 10, 12 by 9 or so cabochon, bluish gray cabochon sapphire with a great star. And but it is that, and I've never seen anything like it. So hanging on into it for now, but we'll see. May end up having a part with that, or maybe I'll just show you for scientific purposes. All right, so what makes up a three-phase anhydro bubble or a three-phase inclusion? Gas, liquid, and a solid. Emeralds are known to have those, and they often can determine origin through that. All right, let's get to now the comments. All right, we don't have many, so that's why these will go by kind of quick. Miss Cindy in Pennsylvania. Hello, Rock family. Sending healing thoughts out to Harry's sister, who is, her name is Susan. So anyway, we'll talk about that in a moment. Enjoyed the show this week. Maybe someday a live show with interaction, questions in chat with question marks. Would love. Trivia answers Ah, see, this is Miss Cindy. She wrote manganese oxide, black coating, and iron oxide, red coating. Oxide. She did get the manganese, and she did get the iron part right. Number 2, gas and liquid. Number 3, solid gas and liquid. So she did well there. There was basically, I think, 7 answers, and that would have been basically 5 and 7 if we wanted to look at it that way. I may be missing in action next Monday the 10th as my husband is having a knee replacement that day. Ah, Cindy, really? Okay, well, turn the TV in the hospital room or he won't mind. He'll understand. I'm just teasing. All of our thoughts and prayers out to the operation because it doesn't matter. Any operation, big or small, is still a big deal, I think. Yeah. Hospitals are pretty much the last place you want to be for no matter what reason. But we know everything's going to go well. And we appreciate that your thoughts of whether going to his operation or staying and watching the show was a decision that you had to make. I appreciate that. Favorite item of the show, the Finland spectrolite. How could it not be? How could it not be? Mr. Anthony in Massachusetts says, hello all, this is a pretty nice family you started here, Mr. Shawn. I detect no sign of dysfunction so far. You sure? Maybe the host might be the one that takes the prize there. Everyone seems to truly care for one another. It is evident week after week. And I will absolutely give you that. I will absolutely give you that. Yeah, there is something special. You can feel it. Generosity in all its forms, not to mention some pretty smart people. I'm proud to be a member. Absolutely generosity. When Miss Elisa said to substitute her name if she got the answer correct, and to give Harry an additional chance at winning, I think that was really special. And you know, the day that I read that, if I had actually read that the first day that I had received that, then it wouldn't have fallen on the same day that Harry told us about his sister Susan. So it came in late. Miss Elisa rewrote and had to win the answer again for the trivia, and rewrote what she had the week before to be able to give Harry her ticket, so to speak, and chance at winning the trivia. And so the week that was last week that I just made the executive decision, and we didn't even have a drawing. I just automatically just made him the designated winner. And I'm looking at it here where he, it was actually, I write them in the order, and Miss Elisa's comment came right in right before Harry's, and Harry's discussed how his sister had some tests done, and hers wasn't looking too good. And Miss Elisa's generous comment was, she wrote, Harry wrote about how he has true joy for when someone else wins, even if it was something that he would have really loved to have as well. That touched my heart, and I know exactly what growth he is talking about. I was wondering, instead of opting out this week, can you put Harry's name in for the drawing instead of mine? I would love to share the joy of him winning. And this has been on my heart since I watched that show. Wow, Miss Elise, you want me to cry again? Yeah. That is truly heartwarming. And what Harry has been writing through my troubles has truly been heartwarming as well. And that was certainly a heartwarming thought, Miss Elisa, because, you know, if I would have thought of it, I would have wanted to do that as well. So, you know, a lot of people have a great heart, but they don't often, thoughts of great giving or grateful helping often don't cross a person's mind, even though they do them if they did it. So the thought of doing that was a wonderful idea, because it certainly would increase his chance. So when I saw that and what you wrote and knew everyone else behind me, I said, nah, you know, we're going to rig this. We're going to make sure Harry wins. And I did. And as it stands right now, everybody, so say your prayers, because I do not have any comments from him this week, which is very unusual. So hopefully maybe he's spending his time with his sister, Susan. And I'm sure he'll get back. But he writes here last week, so he was good to go with his checkup at a 2-year mark and cancer-free, Harry is. As for his sister, she faces challenges coming up. So this said, I just haven't had time to catch up. He asked that we please keep my sister Susan in your prayers. And I believe God hears all prayers as well as all our praises. This is from last week. Sorry, Shawn, it's all I got for now. So I'm rereading what I read last week. He didn't even answer. He always participates in the trivia, and he didn't even participate in last week's trivia. So, yeah, and the other interesting and very cool thing was the gift that I had for the trivia gift was a mixed 100-carat bag, or maybe more, of different gemstones that are cuttable, and also some that are cut, like opals and whatnot. And Harry's a cutter and loves cutting. It's like his therapy. Absolutely loves it, and sends me pictures that, you know, I don't always have the opportunity to show all of you. So it was really great, and it was perfect for him. It was perfect for him. So for someone else to win it, they might have not really had much to do with them. For Harry to win it, it had everything, you know, to do with him and who he is as a cutter, and to keep him plenty busy and enjoy going through it. It made him maybe take his mind off of things. So we hope to hear back from you, Harry, soon. And so that's what Anthony is referring to, and also Miss Cindy as well. So I'll continue on. My notes were actually after I read that. Wow, you know, that was a wow signal right there. I'm glad you like the red cat. As you know, when slicing thunder eggs, you will get slices that match, albeit one slightly smaller. Since you hinted ever so subtly, wow, one of the rock felines will be jetting to you very soon. That got another little wow right there, I wrote, because certainly, I don't ask anything from any of you. And so that will be an awesome gift. And I meant to upload the picture to Asif so he could show it better than through my phone, but we'll do that next week, or maybe I'll have the real thing to show all of you what we're talking about first, and about thunder eggs, and then show you what he will have sent me. Also, I have on, because I felt like I needed the power of the owl, a very cool owl piece that he had made and put in my birthstone, being Sabarite garnet as the eyes. How perfect is that for owls? So yeah, you guys are special. It works both ways, and I appreciate it. And none of you have to do a single tangible thing. It's just in your comments, in your support of the show, in your purchases, and your love for all of us here. We can feel it, and it matters. It matters, believe me. We talk about it amongst us. Mr. Anthony goes on to say, I see the red cat, but I was curious, what do you see in the picture from the other slice from the different thunder egg? It looks to me I'm in a cave with water rushing in and the entrance out to the horizon. I'll upload that for next week, and we'll take a look at that and see how that looks. It always blows me away when you and Dave nail a shot of a tiny crystal in a tiny bug using a magnifying glass. Pretty cool. That had another wow, my comments next to it. So we got a 3-wow show going on. Sorry so long-winded. Mr. Anthony, that wasn't long-winded at all. The trivia. See? Listen. I shouldn't be like that. Iron oxide, he wrote. Manganese oxide, he wrote. We were looking for elements, and no trick question, maybe just a little bit, and I even said, I think, and warned, listen carefully. Yeah, see where that went. Question number 2, liquid and gas on the 2-phase. Question number 3, solid within bubble within liquid, 3-phase. You're getting that right, so you almost got there, Mr. Anthony. Eyes down, he writes, because that's where the rocks and minerals are. Miss Elisa, hello, Professor Shawn, the lovely Raven, GSN crew, and Rock family. Thank you, Shawn, and congratulations, Harry, on your win. I am sorry about your sister's news, and I will keep her and your family in my prayers. I have 2 brothers, and I know how important a brother can be. She is lucky to have you to support her through this. Wow, Shawn, you had some very interesting and unique items. Another world-class tour event. My answers to this week's trivia question are manganese and iron. And then she writes MnO2 and FeO2 in parentheses. Both were oxides, but you asked for the elements, and oxides are compounds. Did I get that right? Close enough, right? Yes, you did. Liquid and gas, solid, liquid and gas on the others. Have a great, so she gets a big star, and everyone correct. Have a great weekend, she says. Next, we go to Miss Peggy. Hi, everyone. I've missed my favorite rock hounds. I've been watching and keeping up with the lives of everyone. I wish the positive energies find you and bring you comfort. I was sorry to hear about your favorite aunt. It sounds like she was an amazing person. To have the love and patience to handle all you young boys and girls is a gift. Savor those good memories. And that's exactly what it was. The girls in between all of us boys, and it was a passel full of us. But, you know, I guess parents should learn, because of her hands-off method of raising us during the summer, we felt like we had to be responsible enough to honor that, because we didn't want hands-on. So we didn't do anything that would create an environment where, you know, we got restrictions or had to be in at a certain time. Not that we were driving out or anywhere. No, we were just roaming the property and, you know, hanging out down by the quarry and things like that. So yeah, we would we wouldn't push it. That's smart advice. Trivia. Oh, Miss Peggy. Oh, she also goes on to say, have you been able to do any work in the woods with old 2 buckets? Uh-oh, don't give up on that gold dream. The weather is so beautiful these days. This is my favorite time of the year. Let's not talk about the tractor right now. That's a difficult subject. And you're going to see something special in today's show. And I've already told you that it was coming up, that I'd be offering it. And, you know, I just have to do what I have to do, even though things will be missed. Keep that in mind. I still will need, you know, you to not purchase them thinking you're doing me a favor. Wait till you see what I'm offering for sale today. Answers, Miss Peggy. To the trivia, she goes iron, and I know she knew this one, but she wrote magnesium. I know you meant manganese. I just know you did. Liquid and gas, solid, liquid and gas. So that was actually a 6 out of 7. That was really good. Please take care of your heart, my stony friend. Find your joy, Miss Peggy. Miss Penny and Mahalis. Hello, Shawn Raven, the wonderful GSN crew and fellow rockhounds. I hope everyone is well. Shawn, I applied your excellent executive decision on just making Harry the winner to the trivia gift. Congratulations, Harry. That's a perfect gift for a cutter. I wish you and Susan all the best. As difficult as it is, keep moving forward and always be hopeful. Oftentimes, attitude is the biggest contributor to success and recovery. Last week, Mahalis participated in his school's Terry Fox Run, Terry Fox Run/Walk, which is an annual event in cities across Canada and English schools in Quebec. And for those of you who don't know, that's where Penny and Mahalis live. It raises money for cancer research and has raised over $850 million since 1981. Terry Fox was one of our greatest heroes who decided to run across Canada in 1980 after losing his right leg to cancer and seeing children suffer while he was in the hospital recovering. He called his run the Marathon of Hope, and he ran an entire marathon, 42 kilometers, 26 miles, daily, on a mechanical leg until he was forced to stop in Thunder Bay, Ontario. Happen to know some things about Thunder Bay rock-wise, huh? That's some beautiful hematite included amethyst there. He showed us that anything is possible, and we always have to strive towards our goals. Now for the trivia. Orange color on the quartz, iron oxide. I know the black is another oxide, but I don't remember which since I was ironing at the time and wasn't paying 100% attention. What? I was just thinking what kind of teacher I would make. Two-phase, a bubble equals liquid and gas. Three-phase, liquid, gas, and solid. Got that right. But again, I'm getting everybody on when I said element. Difference between element and a mineral, because really, if you're talking about iron oxide or iron oxide, I mean, there's names given to them, mineral names like hematite. The spectrolite pendant and the chalcedony pendant are definitely beautiful, but my pick of the week are the coral with citrine and the Diamond Hill quartz with iron oxide specimen. A very great choice. Those would be the kind of things that actually Raven would pick over the pendant, even though she loves her spectrolites, which she had, of course, give that one up. And I don't know if anyone has bought it because none of you mentioned it here, but we know a lot of other people watch that do purchase this thing. I brought in a shape of the feldspar crystal I talked about that I found in that graded property where they actually bulldozed down the house and it's become commercial property. But then I saw the way you dig out an outcropping, and I saw just the way it was mounted on either side, and so I got a little closer and I said, that's either, you're digging that out for something like a septic tank, which it was too early in the construction of the lot for that to occur. I said, or someone was clever enough to realize that was an outcropping that needed to be excavated outwards, and I was right. It was. So I'll show you what I found in a moment. We wish everybody a wonderful week, and we hope that everybody continues to be inspired and always fight and persevere. See you next week, Penny and Mahalis. Great words there, Miss Penny, and well done on being a great mom. I have no doubt. Mahalis is lucky. Miss Barbara on the go. So just a quick note from my phone. See, people like Miss Barbara, manganese and iron were the coatings on the quartz specimen. Very good. Liquid and gas are two-phase inclusion like water and trapped air bubble. Liquid, gas, and solid are three-phase inclusion like water, air bubble, and a crystal. Just saw a talk today by Aaron Celestian at the LA Museum about the uses of zeolites. His discovery was a powdered one from the Mojave Desert, which chemically binds lead contamination from old batteries into its porous structure. We'll get the exact name when his talk is posted on YouTube in 3 weeks, since it was a name which not ring a bell. Cool science. Hope this finds everyone well. Barbara from Brooklyn. And that's what I've told everybody about the different zeolites. It's an amazing string of related minerals who have a very porous and open lattice structure to their molecular makeup. And what it does is it allows certain size other molecules to pass through and holds back others. So one is designed as a floating barrier that absorbs and catches oil, yet lets water pass through it. So it is great for oil spills, and they can gauge and create these certain foams, certain barriers, certain type of micro netting kind of thing, to different size particulates that they're aiming for. Now we're talking even down, on the molecular scale, but it's really amazing. And it's the zeolites that have everything to do with it. And there's a large number of zeolites, many we don't even discuss or talk about, that if they can't, of course, mine them naturally, they have figured out the structural makeup, and then they can synthetically make them as well in an industrial environment and in the form that they need them. So, yeah, and like they often have said, Mother Nature has left everything right here on Earth that we need to survive and to make our life as good as we want. I tend to believe that the more I learn myself day to day. Okay, so in the end of it all, there was only 2 of you that actually got the answers correct, if I had to go by it. So it was between Miss Elisa and Miss Barbara, and if it was a situation I could give each of you a prize, it would be. But in this case, the winner is this week out of the 2, and it happens to be Miss Barbara. You are the winner this week. Let's show Miss Barbara what her prize is. And if you can't tell exactly what it is I went ahead and sandwiched those 2 opal doublet, kind of mosaic, not true mosaic. These are more a patterned mosaic. And there are 2 of them, and then of course with the goop on top of the agate. So let's just break this apart for a moment and show you a closer up look. I never liked goop, but these happen to be some really nice opals, and what they do is they dye the epoxy, and that's why you get this darkened kind of glue, and I always used to do that. Now this is just the stuff that is in between, because these were 2, and I thought it looked good with them going back and forth on the thing. So you can do it the same way. It is looks to be on a black onyx background, and you can see there's many different patterns to the opals that were used, and I like that. And it also is, you're able to tell that these are not a synthetic opal, but a natural opal. And even you can see a additional area where there was an opening there where there's clay that was used. And so really, look at that blue. Some really nice colors in this material that are fun just to have as display if you don't do anything with them, but they're also nice size if you want to do something with them. So I'm just going to kind of put those back together there instead of take the time to remove the goop that I don't like to start with. And here is the really neat thing, actually, even more so I think than the opal, is check this out. This is one of the most unusual slices of agate, and in the way agate forms in its formation it's really unusual and creative. And to see it like this, I wish I actually knew. So when we look at this closer, and you see the formation of not only the very center, but then you have these areas around it like that, and then this secondary formation like that, without a opening at the edge like you often see slices will have, that leave no doubt to where and how they were formed. Actually, I hadn't noticed that before. It looked like it was drilled there, but I don't think so. Just another little inclusion. So let me show you for a minute though. This is always neat when you can backlight agate, because it has these some really beautiful banding in it that often won't show up until you give it the backlighting, and then it can also tell its story of formation. And what you're looking at is real carnelian. Thank you, sir. When you have that orange color. It's not a heated type of color or anything like that. So anyway, I thought this made a neat little display stand if you wanted to put something on it, even as something as simple as that. Congratulations to Miss Barbara, and we'll be right back. All right, now, I had given everybody a chance at one of the rarest formations of this gem you have ever seen, and maybe it was because I was offering a special if you took both of them. Well, no one took advantage of either one. Item number 1074922. Here is something that is a one of a kind. Now, look at the color now. It's an incredible pink. And okay, when I turn it at this particular angle, you see all that reflection on the same angle shows you that in its original form, that the growth of the crystal happened and occurred all on a epitaxial type of plane. Now, over time, what happened was another geothermal solution came through where this Morganite was and was powerful enough not to just create some etching on the exterior, but to go all the way through different parts of the crystal. Now, a Morganite can either reform and fill in those areas, and that's where you get a big crystal, often included, but still with areas of clarity, just as this one does. Let's look at this little section right here. You think a big piece like this, there's nothing cuttable there. Well, not true at all. When you have, that's just the thing about it. If you had a diamond crystal this large, do you know how many diamonds they could cut that would be really fantastic clarity out of it? A lot. Same thing here. You just, look at the size compared. So there's, if you wanted to, but this type of etching is and has been found only in a couple of different areas of Morganite production. And it's actually a much more rare form to acquire and have. And I only had, from a number of years ago, probably less than 5 or 6 of these altogether. And I think Miss Gabby had gotten one over time. Correct me if I was wrong about that. One of the earlier ones, or maybe one of the only other ones that I had ever offered it in a show. This is a natural color, remember. Now, not to burst a lot of people's bubbles, but there's Morganite out there that you see that's being marketed as the majority of it, and it has been radiated, okay? So that occurs a lot, as you know, with kunzites and whatnot. These pieces are completely natural. I say these because I have another one to show you that I had done a package deal on, but now I am doing a discount on each one individually. So I'm offering these individuals so you don't get confused. This is, you can see by the size of my hand just how large it is. Morganite is a beryllium aluminum silicate, and to give you an idea, there's 3 atoms of beryllium, 2 of aluminum, 6 of silicon, and 18 of oxygen. That's all that makes it up. It's from the Ur-Qum claim in Galilela, in, of course, Minas Gerais, Brazil. And this is natural pink color. It is a rare collector crystal, and it is considered crystal. There's many crystalline parts that you can see to this. J.P. Morgan, it was named for. J.P. Morgan, at the time, it was kind of a toss-up whether it was going to be Kunz, was going to get the Kunzite name, Frederick Kunz, because they were being discovered kind of at the same time, wonderful Kunzites coming out of California. With J.P. Morgan, of course, donating so much money to incredible museums and other places that had part of his collection. So he was one of those that the name Morganite doesn't give you much knowledge about the mineral or gem itself, but he was. I'm okay with that because it does take certain individuals like that to preserve specimens and donate specimens to certain museums to just improve the hobby and the retention of museum quality pieces all the way around. And he did that. So, yeah, for that, to the extent that he was able to do that, especially at the time that he did that, was really important and needed to a philanthropist like that to inject our kind of not as popular of a hobby, which is okay in some cases. It's gotten actually bigger than it used to be. Collecting rocks, we used to, look at, if I was actually Charlie Brown and got a piece of coal in my stocking for Christmas, I'd be quite happy. What kind would it be? Would it be bituminous, anthracite? Would it be jet, the lignite variety that they used for jewelry? So, rock hunting has become more popular, and different things has helped it. The metaphysical crowd has really helped it along its way with the promotion of healing and whatnot attributed and to different minerals and things. So this piece only $178, $178, and it's one of those. Okay, if you look at even the weight of it, if you go to try to find one at a collector show, very difficult to find, and that's an excellent price. And it's not on an individual basis. I think if you bought both of the pieces together, I think it was only going to be another $10 off each one. But that's great. That shows it off well and helps my eyes. Yeah, so you can really see the nice clean area in there that it would cut a stone. The one, that's right, I'm remembering the one, I think, and it might help a lot of you to remember the piece, was one that actually had, it was really cool because what I think had happened was there was a green tourmaline crystal, and it looked like perfect shape had been eroded out from around it. So what I think actually what happened was it eroded out the green tourmaline, the solution, completely, and then another tourmaline used its original form to kind of as a seed and started growing another tourmaline crystal on the inside of it, but did not completely touching the sides of where the larger crystal was. I'm not really sure. That's just a guess as to what might have happened in the particular formation, but it was really, really cool and really unusual. So this, again, look at the color, and I say pink. Now, the next item I show you is item 107-5022. 107-5022. And this is the Morganite. And when I compare the two, this one I called pink, this one I called peach. And now, look at the difference in the colors. You can see just how different the pink and the peaches are. And both coming from the same mine, but now you can see and understand that, yes, there is natural. I'm going to put this away so you don't get confused. So this one, remember, discounted to $178. We're going to put the peach one up there and look at how wonderfully it sits and displays on its own for the same mine. And this is natural color. This is a color that you often see that they radiate ones to. They end up being this finished color. Now you can see all on the same plane. You can see the crystal face and where then portions of it were etched out. Now, you can easily see that there is areas of tremendous clarity, large areas, like back in here. You can see, look at that. Look at the size area, and compared to my thumb, I'm looking at that. Yeah, that would probably cut a 40 carat stone or larger in there and be a natural color pink. So that is, that's your money stone right there, especially since you could show the before look to this. If you actually took a saw, a little fine saw, and came along here, the edge to it, you would be able to see the area that you could save and cut, and then you'd still have that kind of area. But better to not really do anything to it, because it is special, it is large, and it is extremely unique. It would be a fun one to take magnification to and look all around it. There's always a potential to find anhydros, you know, two-phase inclusion, water bubbles, and whatnot. Price on this is only, we're going to discount a little, $238. $238. So 342 carat piece. You know I'm doing some fundraising there indeed. What you will have is something no one else would have. It is that rare of a creature as far as etched morganites, and also the natural colors to them. And look at, well, it's almost like a little elephant's nose. So the difference in the colors, natural colors. That's why I said if you wanted a cool set with the two, why I offered them and gave you an item number that would get you both of them at the discounted price. If you are still want that, just go to the show several shows ago and find where I offered them and the item number from those shows, and you'll also get the discounted price. All right, so wonderful, wonderful pieces at a really incredible opportunity with me offering those. Okay, so let me get the next item out of the way, because it's like offering, you know, something very beloved. And it is beloved and has a long provenance and history, all of it relating back to myself. I'm actually had just finished redoing the brushed finish on it. So let me put the tag on it right now and give you the item number for something that you have seen for quite some time. And now you get the first opportunity to make a wonderful item yours before it is shown through any other vendor or venue. Item 108-1022. 108-1022. That will bring you right to, oh yeah, check this out. Check this out. This is the stunner. This is a piece that you are quite familiar with. And wow, look at that. Yep, you're familiar with it. It looks way better on the hand than it does in any other place, because you've seen it on my hand for a number of years. This, now, of course, it was told to me, and it certainly has the color of what would be a Burmese ruby. I can't say that for certain, but it certainly has that color. This is in platinum, and I was commissioned to make this ring for a gentleman, and you are familiar with, there's the PLAT for platinum. And over here, and we'll show you that closer up in a moment, is the way I sign my pieces was with my name's initials and the year in between. So with this, there you have it. You're going to see S99S. I made this ring in 1999. And when I made it for the gentleman who he's actually in the, was in the jewelry business at the time, and I said to him, if you ever want to sell that, I would like to have it back. I loved not only the job I did, but I loved the ruby. You can see it's just hollowed out lightly there, allowing for the finger to breathe. People don't realize when I want it solid across the back. Well, when you do that, and that's when you get water up underneath your hand. That's when you get your finger to turn white, and also your finger can break out. Now, platinum prevents a lot of that, but not your finger turning white when it's completely solid underneath. So when you give a little bit of room there for the moisture to dry out and away, you prevent that. This, I just redid this finish, and I did it with a diamond rock wheel. Basically, instead of it being a stone wheel, it is a wheel with sintered diamond in it, and it leaves this really nice finish. A platinum ring is going to get scratched and beat up anyway, so what I can tell people is I pre-scratch it for you in a patterned method. So all the way, just going across the ring, and then bright polish the flush part. See, it doesn't have a true bezel. This is what I am so well known for doing. If you want to see how that's done, go to the How It's Done series of shows where I made that blue sapphire, that two-tone sapphire and ring, where you get to see not only the center stone, but the side stones be flush set as well. So this, I actually am able to press the metal down and around the ruby without having a raised bezel like most goldsmiths will do, because they can't do this kind of setting. I think it's a lot cleaner lines when you don't have that raised bezel. It shows off more of the stone. So then I just bright finish the area around it, which makes it stand out in a way without having to give up any of the metal or show off, cover up any more of the stone. Now, you can see all the way through that this ruby has a lot of exposure by way of light, and you can see the shape of the dome. You can see the outsides like this. I put a bright finish on as well because it doesn't take the beating and won't get scratched up. This ring is a size 7. You know, 1999, that was a great year. I remember, actually, because of this ring, I remember a lot about that year, because I can associate it for when I made this piece, and it was a number of years before I was able to get the ring back. And it was actually Raven that she slowly, secretly paid the guy for it, because he knew her and was able to get the ring back. Now, you can see there's some special things about this stone that really will tell you a lot about it. And it also is a lesson in what to look for in a ruby that has not been glass filled or lead filled or all the other type of fillings that they do. There's actually surface inclusions that come to the surface. The glass filled ones, that's the whole idea of why they do what they do with the filling, is under high temperature and pressure, they will melt glass, and it also puts off usually an orange cast. The filling, when they, it's a dyed filling, but it will leave its mark in often a different color in those fracture-filled areas. And in this particular ruby, you can see them. You can still see the surface inclusions that come to the surface. Now, in the world of ruby, this stone is a facet grade quality. There's many, many, many rubies that are much worse in clarity and are faceted. And this one, I love the fact that it was cabochon. As a matter of fact, there are several people, other vendors, owners, that want this ring only because you do not see cabochon rubies of this size. I'll put it on my hand. It's a size 7. It can be sized pretty much to any size you want, men's or ladies. You can see it has just a striking, clean, lined look. You can see actually the incredible red color that it also has, and there's, even dating it from the year I made it and knowing that ruby was around years before that. So there's certain places like Mozambique you can easily start deducing and telling you places that it's not from. So, the story of it and the provenance beyond what I know from the first dealer, well-known Atlanta area jewelry dealer, and the word was, and I believed him, that it was Burmese because it had everything that a Burmese ruby by way of color would look like, but it is not papered or such. Now, speaking of papered or such, what I am going to show you, since, believe it or not, the actual weight was somehow lost along the way, which between jewelers is kind of odd that would occur. But there is, of course, science to this, and I did the science, and here it is. You can calculate the weight. Let me just show you, carat weight of a cabochon ruby. So here is the actual formula of how you calculate it. I, of course, could get the length, the width, the depth. Here is all this. The cabochon profile factor. So you look at it from the side, and depending on how high the dome is, like if it's a bullet dome, real pointed dome, or whether it's just a gradual dome, there's a factor that you can observe and do a cross-reference on it and get the cabochon profile factor. Percentage of the bulge. Now, what they mean by that is the underside. How domed is the underside? It's not just flat across the bottom, but I took the very minimal amount of curvature to that because that is going to add or subtract weight. Well, this has you can feel a very, very slight dome as opposed to it being totally flat. So I took the minimum of only 5%. And with that, there's actually the notes on being the specific ring and made by Shawn. So the carat weight, wow, it spits out by the calculation is 4.653 carat. So taking that, I just rounded it down for the weight I used. This will actually come with it if you want, to 4.5 carats. So I think it is safe to say that that's how I got to the 4.5 carat weight of it through scientific measurement, which it's actually very, very accurate, those type of measurements. Now, the price I'm going to offer this ring to you is going to be less than where you would ever see it in any other environment, and that's the way it should be. With the way things have been, as heartbreaking it is for me to sell it, it's a wonderful place for me to let this ring go on. Just like, I know who got that incredible two-tone color sapphire ring that I wore and enjoyed so much. This is another piece signed by me, probably one of the oldest custom pieces now that you'll ever come across. That even though, of course, I was doing them many years before this, but they just get rarer and harder to find. And for a period of time, I didn't even sign them. But of course, by this time, I was signing them. So 1999. That was, yeah, so what, 23 years ago, something like that. And to get that ring, to have made it, and wish to have it back one day, and for that to occur was magical to me, for that to come back to me, so to speak. It was one of the pieces I really wanted to come back to me. And I have enjoyed it. It was only about 4 years later. I have enjoyed it for many, well, ever since then. And, but, you know, for different reasons, and reasons that you would be helping both Raven and I out, if this would be the environment I would want to pass this piece on in, because I know that one of you, and you wouldn't have to say or tell me who it is, I just would know that one of you out there in this show would be the lucky one for both of us, for me and for you, to get it in. Now, after this, don't be surprised if it doesn't sell in this show. Don't be surprised if you see it, if you watch other gem shopping shows, because I already know if the dealers don't keep it for themselves personally that have been interested in it, the vendors, then it may be, you know, up for sale in different shows. But if you want to get a really fantastic opportunity, you know, the person that owns it is the one that can give you that opportunity better and the best. And besides, I'm also the one that's going to end up sizing it for you no matter what, if you need it sized or anything else done to it. So, okay, let me remember what I did so I don't spout out. Yeah, I didn't even write a price, but okay, ready? This, at the size and the weight, it's heavy. It's the entire piece at 13.5 grams. So 4.5. So let's say there's about a gram of ruby. So the 12.5 gram of platinum itself is a considerable and heavy weight. With 15.5 grams is half an ounce. So you're talking about not too far away from half an ounce of platinum, and of course I made the entire piece. It has other natural inclusions that you'd love to see under magnification. I was looking at it. It had, ruby and sapphire has been known to have upwards of 50 different other minerals found in them. So kind of neat to see that. It has natural ruby inclusions, but it also has the surface reaching ones, so you know that it has not been fracture filled. All right, it's tough to, once you say the price, you can't take it back, or at least you certainly can't go up. But, the platinum mounting alone could cost this much. Or the ruby, easily this much if you figure it. Well, here's the price. $4,448. $44.48. If you take a price of $1,000 a carat, that's $4,500 there, not even counting anything for that platinum mounting. So, and for a ruby this size, $1,000 a carat is a bargain. To find a cabochon, here is the most difficult part of the entire piece, and that is finding a ruby that is facet grade quality in a cabochon, or finding a ruby cabochon, period. Because what they do is they take a piece like this, and of course, if you took this, look at the depth, and if you make that the top, the crown, and make this and facet that, you are going to come out, because I could do it, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. you're going to come out with a ruby. I would not have to touch the dimensions. In other words, it would be this same size by way of the dimensions. It would have the shallow table just like they cut them, because you can develop all your brilliance from the pavilion, the bottom portion of it. And you can see these sides, how they slope to what would almost be straight down at the very edge. That would give you enough room to be able to facet a crown, have a table, and there's plenty of depth to be able to cut it within the critical angle, allowing maximum brilliance to be reflected back up out of the stone. And I actually didn't bring my other flashlight, but you can see even with this blue light flashlight, the clarity to the piece. Wow, that actually shows it quite well. Huh. Well, now that I see it's actually that clean, thank you, sir. That's one of those deals. Like I said, once you price it, you can't take it back. This is a blue light flashlight and not my expensive sunlight flashlight. But if you want to see something glow beautifully from the chromium in it for fluorescence, it will certainly do that as well. Yeah, for ruby, that has all that you want going for it for color. And you're right, Raven said to use a white finger, and she was right, because that would actually look better. Here, I'm gonna do something cheesy. Here we go. Just put it against white. There. Yeah, there. We had them. It was just my fault. Look at that. All made by me so many years ago. I had a little bit of talent, and after the How It's Done series, I still have that talent. All right, 44 or 48, that you're not going to see it no matter where any less than that. That is, of course, getting it straight from the maker's mouth. I need to take a break after showing you that so I can wipe away a tear. But do me a favor, if you get that piece, that's exactly what you're going to be doing, is me a favor. All right, see you back in a moment. One of really the finest specimens for what it is, and I'm going to show you the box in a minute, might tip your hand off a little bit more as to the whole story on this one. Now, this, I wasn't, I finally decided to say, okay, I'm going to offer this. This is one of those more expensive specimens that you really don't realize until you know the market for these type of specimens, and very, very collectible. Fluorite and calcite combination, but this isn't just a regular fluorite and calcite. There is so many special extras to here. So let's go through a couple of them. And for one, I'm going to show you the bicolor. This is not a inclusion across that fluorite. That is a incredible bicolor portion where the top is a mint color green and the cap, and it's sitting, look at that, on a purple. Gosh, what else are you going to call it? Pyramid. And then look at the pyrites. Look at the pyrite cubes. Always easy to tell pyrite when they are just that magic word, cubes. There's more. Now, let me show you. And I had the black background, but I couldn't really see it maybe as well as the white. But these crystals, for one, notice how unusual. They're calcite, but look at how unusual the growth is. What? Do you happen to see a little bit of pink to them? Yeah, when you start seeing pink, you start seeing really just how pink they are. And under the fluorescent light, manganese calcite, which this is, manganese, often a trigger for fluorescence, and boy, do they fluoresce. It is a wonderful orange-red color, and they're almost identical in fluorescence between long wave or short wave. So it's for long wave, the safer one, it's great, great, great. Look at that. You can see the pink in that, manganese and calcite. And then, again, look at, remember, calcite has over 100 different habits, formations of how it forms. Really an amazing, just CaCO3, calcium carbonate, in all the different forms that it comes in. Okay, so that's just one crystal, but all the crystals have that same really unique type of, I don't know, stepped growth, skeletal growth. Look at these. Then there's this. Look at that termination of that one, sprinkled with more of the really pretty, just the right amount of pyrite scattered around. Okay, then again, look at the termination. Look at that really beautiful termination. What do you see to the right over here? There was, I couldn't put it in the label, all the different goodies about this. Look at that phantom. Yep, look at that. Look at that. Actually looks like a stealth fighter jet. What a, no, Mother Nature's perfect 90-degree angle there. I almost had to make notes so I could remember to point out everything that I kept discovering in this piece. And one of them, as I turn this, we're going to backlight this in a moment, but yeah, there were several. Okay, see another phantom right down there. There's really phantoms throughout. And oh, here's another really cool thing. Okay, you see the finish that's on that face of the fluorite versus this face. There's a great way to look at it right there. Two different crystal formations right there. Now, oh, let me get my pointer, because here is a couple of potential unknowns. And when, let's see. For one, some of this material down here, could it be inspected a little bit more? Or it can be cleaned out a little bit more if it tends to pick free easily. Look at that face right at the top, and you can see the definitive pink color to it. And as we keep coming, look at the little calcite there. And then look over here. Look right there. And as I turn that, potential inclusions or potential color zoning. Just takes a little additional inspection to see what you have there. This potential calcite. Now, let me light this from behind, and Dave may have to do his magic, and let me see what we have. We'll start off right here as we, there we go, perfect. So this is one of the things, boom, I want to show you. I did not see any yellow fluorite, but upon backlighting it, look at everything else you see. So I just move this a little and it goes from yellow to blue, and then look at that. Look at the phantom growth of the fluorite on fluorite. And as we move this around, things like this, when you have those lighted base stands, they work great to really light it up from underneath. Look at that. Look at that. This is how a great way to find phantoms that you may not have even known are there. Look at the shape to the different forms that the fluorite and the zoning is. I'm trying to control the different lighting strengths as I come through the different thicknesses of the fluorite. Trying to get into that big one, but there we go. There we go. Can see into that. See that? Look at that. Look at that one. Look at that. Perfect. Didn't see that before at all. Wow, look at that crystal growth. And this is so, that's why I said, this is how you get all the enjoyment from a specimen like this. You sit literally and play with it. You go to the closet, or you turn the lights off, you get your flashlight out, you get your, I call it headgear, your optivisor on for magnification, and you just start staring. Then you get your black light out. Long wave, short wave. This is, remember, fluorite and calcite, so expect a fun fluorescent ride there. Also with the phantoms. And then look at that. All right, thank you, sir. We didn't even do the center, but I'm going to leave that for you to explore. Let's look on the back. What's creating that yellow color? Look at this. I don't see any yellow fluorite per se, but there must be a row of yellow somewhere. There is something I remember seeing. If we come in a little closer and just travel this edge, you're going to spot, hopefully, what I did. And it was, well, for one thing, there's some interesting crystals I see right there, but that's not, it was a bunch of additional, here they are, cubes, there they are, right there, right there. What looks like a fun set of, there we go. Wow, even more fun with Dave and his magic camera. That's Mother Nature's fasting at its best. I would say fluorite, but there is some, but fluorite forms in a lot of different habits, so I don't want to be thrown off, but there is some certainly interesting shapes to those. How fun is this piece? All right, let's talk about what you have to pay for this kind of fun. Let me show you the description that how I got this from, and this came straight from the dealer. So it's calcite on blue fluorite, a fluorite mine, but the exact location is secret. Let's talk about that for a moment and how this happens. Now, what usually happens is specimens that come out of these mines are a bonus for the miners as they sneak them out in things from their lunch pails, down their work clothes. I'm not kidding you. Wherever they can, they know when they hit a pocket, they know the value on the street is certainly more than the few dollars a day they may be earning. But mass production in these kind of mines, they don't take into account collectors' desires or wishes. They just, light the dynamite and kaplooey. And that's it. So, but it's after the kaplooey is when they break into these incredible pockets. Well, it's whatever can be, what's the word? I'll get this one. Whatever, I want to say whatever sneaking. I'm not even going to say any more than that. Whatever they can secretly get out of the mine. Because other than that, the mine owners and managers know it's going to slow down production with the miners trying to get these pieces out without breaking them, etc. And as long as everybody is in on the game and in for a cut, no one's going to speak about it. But there's usually not enough money to go around for the managers and the owners, everybody to get into it. So it's usually the few little muckers, the ones that rake out the initial blast, that can get in and get some of this material. Now, if there is enough of this material brought out of the mine, then the origin of it can be disclosed, because it can't be singled out to any single miner. They know they're getting pilfered. And, finger pointing at it, because, there's many branches in these mines. There's not just one mine place where they're mucking it out and blasting. I mean, there's multiple levels, multiple stopes, multiple veins. So you might have hundreds of miners that have the ability to sneak out specimens from a particular location. Therefore, disclosing it isn't going to single out a single miner. It is the mines that very few are able to, specimens are able to be gotten out. And specimens look different from each mine, believe me. A miner knows when he looks at a specimen, he may not be able to tell you exactly every mineral as like a mineralogist could, but he knows that that specimen looks exactly like the ones that are coming out of his particular mine. Whereas the mine, you know, a kilometer down the road, those specimens might look totally different and can be able to be told that they're not from the mine that, you know, he may be at. So these, when they had a secret location, you're more likely to have a specimen that is a lot more rare coming from that location than other specimens that a lot of them are coming out. And therefore, location isn't that big of a deal because it's not singled out to a single person. So that's my theory on why the secret location. There's a lot of different fluorite mines, but people in the know, they know exactly the combination. That's why you just have to go to MINDAT and you can look and see exactly yourself how each different mine produces different specimens of, you know, the different minerals involved, different crystal, different habits, and whatnot. When it has a secret location, then probably very few specimens are coming out from that particular mine. My theory on it. This piece with those combinations, the Manganoan calcite, the fluorescence, all the other goods, is a real collector piece. $248. And let's see, I'm always curious. I thought so. It looked like it would, and you know how excited I get about that. It hasn't even been sawed across the bottom to do that. It does that naturally on its own, and that just is an extra bonus. Just an extra bonus. $248, a real beauty and rarity. Get the box and the label as well. All right, now let me go to another piece I want to show. So many things I want to do. Item 1080722. 1080722. And then after this one, we're going to get to a different budget price point. Look at this. This, well, it's like the other. And let me show you. Okay, so exciting. For one, crystals on every side. And now, it is going in close where the beauty and the value really lie. Because when you see these, all these little additional microcrystals that end up growing. For one thing, look at that big, large, clean piece of quartz there. You have other quartz, well, wait till I show you the real rarity. Okay, brookite. Look at that. That is a crystal of brookite. Now, I should stop and use that as a trivia question, because my question would be, is brookite is a pseudomorph of what? Not a pseudomorph, is a similar, identical chemical formula, but a different crystal system. It's a polymorph. Just like andalusite, sillimanite are all the same, and kyanite. They're all polymorphs of each other. There is polymorphs, look at that, of other different minerals. Well, brookite is a polymorph of rutile. Rutile and brookite, same chemical, but you will not see rutile in that form. This is a huge crystal. There are other crystals with brookite. Look at, you have brookite included in other quartz. Look at these. This is one of the best known localities in the world for brookite and quartz to be found together. And then there's also chlorite, and that's what you're seeing in some of the white. Then you have chlorite that is included in the quartz, and we're looking only on one side of this. Oh, that's right, this is the one. I almost did it, but I didn't. I should have, because I wanted to make a note. There is a wonderful phantom in here. There's also Fodden, and this area is known for Fodden quartz, where it's a thread, where you get that thread look growing up through the quartz crystal. Look at all these other smaller crystals. And this white material, if you're sitting around watching TV, if you want to, yes, it can be picked away and cleaned up. It just takes time, and if you have nothing but time, how fun of a project, to me at least, that would be. Plus then you get to see every crook and crevice and cranny of it, and you actually make progress. Look at that. Look at this. And look at way down in there. Oh, there's also, look at the iris. Oh my, look at that iris on that quartz down there. It almost looks like a different mineral. Look at that reflecting back those purples and blue. I didn't have room to put it in the description, but I almost did. There are irises all over this piece. Once you start looking for them and knowing and using your eye to spot them, they're all over. They're all over. There is also rutile, but you have to hunt for it. There's little rutile crystals. Look at these crystals. They abound everywhere. And the brookite, there's just not one crystal of brookite. Look at that other color right there. Look at the irises coming out of that. Oh, wait. Look at the multiple. What is in this crystal? Okay, let's look at it this way. That looked like there were phantoms in this piece. It certainly has multiple reflections. There's also manifestation quartz that has grown, either other quartz has grown around and over the top of it, or so crystal within crystal. You just have to be looking for it. Look at all the goodies here. Look at this. It is out. And you know what? We are only on one side of it. There's some Fodden quartz. Let's flip this over for a moment. A lot I want to do here in the short amount of time we have left, but these kind of specimens that take a little bit more time, they are a little bit more expensive, maybe a lot more. Let's go in right here for a moment. But they certainly are worthy of it, because to find a piece with, if you are a quartz lover and collector, to find a piece with brookite this large, it's also one of the most desirable locations. Look at that. That is a brookite. Yeah, absolutely a brookite crystal that is completely surrounded by quartz. And hold on, let's just do a little backlighting there. And wow, there we go. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. So, there you go. And as we move that around, there's no telling what else you find. Hold on one second, because there was over here somewhere a great view. Look at that. Looking at through these crystals. What fun that is. That's how I found a phantom, a really nice phantom growth in one of these. Let me spin around for a moment. And oh, what is that? Hold on. Look at that. Okay, I'm going to stop there for a moment. There's a beautiful crystal in crystal, because you know what? I stand at a big chance. Look at that of finding, especially from this particular location, are anhydros. Yeah. And if I find a bubble moving in these, then, you know, not able to change the price on you, that'd be tough. I love anhydro pieces. All right, I'm going to quit there. Thank you, sir. There is a couple of crystals that I had looked at that were really good phantoms, and I'm not going to spend any more time trying to find them for you. Just believe me, they're there. I want you to find them. That brookite, that large brookite, enclosed like that. And then look at this, the exposed brookite. This is not a small brookite crystal. That is a large crystal. Look at this in my hand. This is an incredible. So you see, with phantoms, with chlorite from the Quran Mountains in the Balochistan area of Pakistan. What an area, what an area. And of course, this can be displayed in many different sizes. There's irises. If I had time, I'd be wanting, because I love the camera's viewpoint of everything. Look at this. I mean, which way do you want to display it? I mean, it just stands on its own. Oh, by the way, I could not find an area that it was connected to. So it's almost like free floating and in the pocket, and how you wind up with crystals growing in every which direction. Price on this, it's a very, very valuable piece for the size that it is, but I have made it a really, really affordable price. And let me hope I can find that for you. All right, here, yep, wow. $148, only $148. That's an opportunity, an excellent opportunity. Okay, let me show you one. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I got time. Okay, item number 1080922. I have next one of, since we're talking about zeolites, one of the finest zeolite geodes that you will see when you're talking about heulandite. Look at this. Look at the size of this. Look at pink heulandite. Now, so we can see this a little bit better, let me put the black background so we get a little bit, there we go, of contrast. Now, let's go in and look at this, because we know zeolites often don't travel alone. Here's the thing. When I saw these points and I saw this mirrored reflection, I first thought, well, wow, what is that? Is that a mirror apophyllite? But then when I turned it on its side and I saw the way they were forming along the side of them, I knew they were heulandites. Look at that. And look at back in there. And you know, you have to look carefully, which I haven't. So there is things left to be discovered by way of potential scolecite, okanites, no telling. There's Dave and his magic camera that takes us into the furthest recesses of the mind. Twilight Zone music. Look at that. Look at that. Dave just knows what I want to do sometimes with the camera. Don't need any direction at all. I feel like I'm looking along the teeth of a monster, along the gums, and checking out the cavities. What did I find? If I stop right there and I said, tell me what you see, how many of you would recognize something different right there? See how I've told you before what stilbite looks like? You saw how heulandite came to that perfect point. Well, this is more, it comes up, then over to the point, versus in this case, you have just what they call an alpine formation like that. Sphene can have that same type of alpine type formation. So think of, when you think of that, think of what you imagine the Matterhorn. in Switzerland to look like. It often looks, straight up, straight down like that. But back over here, there is the stilbite. Now, that is the other zeolite I have discovered and where I get the stilbite from. But that doesn't mean there aren't other things to be found. And this is a geode and can be referred to as such because of really the fact that this portion was broken away. Absolute geode. Now, of course, on the back, you have basalt, and then when you see the green, I've asked you a lot of times, you know what the green is, and it is not part of the zeolite family. It actually belongs to the mica family called celadonite. And remember the color to trigger the name, celadon color, celadonite. What a specimen. And look at how that stilbite stands out once you know what to look for. This piece, what a large, beautiful display. It's going to be a deal at $118. $118. Now, before I go any further and before I forget, remember I talked about if someone got that incredible specimen last week that was the spectrolite. And remember I told you that the shape of the pattern of the reflected labradorescence was in the shape of what many moonstone or feldspar crystals look like. It was in the shape of a parallelogram. This is the one I found. So we'll take this away for a moment. Look, this is the piece I actually found myself. And look at the shape of that. Then if you go back and watch the show again, or if you were the one to have gotten it, but even if you weren't, just so you learn if you find this in a field and it's shaped like this, so you know what a calcite can look like this, but it's easy to do a hardness test and tell between the two. Or did you notice that there is a little bit of reflection? Right there it is. See that? There's your adulorescence. There's your moonstone glow, even from a piece of zoopacis. I found this myself. It was from a feldspar deposit. And when I found this, I was tickled to death because maybe it's not a lot of monetary value, but it was a crystal I discovered on my own. Hold on, Dave. Would you zoom into that? And once you're in a deposit like that, there's no telling what other things that can be found, including, look at that. That pinnacle shape has a very similar shape to zircon, as well as that. And we know from the Jones mine, the zircons that were found were that exact color found in feldspar. So I'll have to look at that a little closer. But this was neat. It was found right off of 400 and Highway 369. And Miss Gabby will know exactly where that was. It was actually 306, right behind where the Waffle House is. And it deserved, after I discovered this, to go back after I cleaned this up. And now looking at that, to look at it again. But you see that shape? That's the exact shape that crystal, beautiful crystal pattern followed, and that is rare and unique. Okay, we're going to run through these items quick because I want to give you as many as I can. Item 107-5922. 107-5922. Now, let me see. I made some of these different size parcels. Okay, here's one. 3 triplites. Okay, 3 triplites, and let's put a little bit of Windex. Windex is good for everything. Movie. Triplite doesn't form wonderful crystals that are nicely shaped. It just isn't in its nature. It forms these just kind of crude crystals. But these are some of the best, actually, that I've seen in matrix material. And, when you get lighting on them, there's no telling down in there look at that, what you might find by way of a by way of a look at of something of clarity. Anthony showed us just what he could cut. He found an amazing 41-point stone, and thank you, sir. That and another piece that had started to be faceted, and I wonder who did. And okay, so this one, I'll tell you what, I'm going to discount it. I'm going to discount it. If you don't have your triplet yet, you need to. Let's make this one an amazing deal of only $28. $28. Okay, let me keep going here. Lots of stuff that you have not seen. Item 1080122. 1080122, hopefully. And what you have next is, let me get a different tray. Here we go. Oh, here. We don't need to even take these out. Let me just show them. Look at this. This, I tell you what, look at the colors here. Green, blue, I just put that. There probably is some color change to these. I didn't check them for that, but oftentimes there is. You know what? Looking at them through this, that light right now compared to the light when I saw them, when I parceled them up, they're a totally different color. There was, every one had a green blue. That, you know, I'm gonna be a real dodo bird if I gave, yeah. Even this light, you can see the color change to hopefully what is sapphire. But it chrysoberyl, every possibility. And if it's chrysoberyl, what is it? Alexandrite, if it changes enough. And this isn't even the right light to use, but I can already see a difference in the color. Wow. Wow, that blue is a lot more intense. Oh, look at this one. Okay, right down by my thumb, the big round one. Look at the color that it is right now. All right, Dave, turn the light back on. I'll remove that. Completely different color. Okay, so anyway, that's really interesting. If you have different wavelengths of light, I would try it. $28 for them all. $28 for all those. Oh yeah, I had fun putting together some items for all of you. All right, this next item, an oldie but goodie, 802-819, and this, I don't know how I can get it any lower, but I'm going to do it anyway, just so it doesn't sit around. Here, a pair of nephrite jade earrings, and nephrite, this is. Okay, yeah, this is an oldie but goodie. British Columbia nephrite. And silver earrings, 7 millimeters.
What was the number again?
Yep, here's the number. 902-819. And a great color in the British Columbian material. And I am going to make these for both of them. Why not? Something silly. $9. Only $9 on those. Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong.
Earring?
Yep, earring, sterling silver. You can see they're 7 millimeter. And if you have any other jade, well, you have to have earrings to go with, yeah. Or what a great gift for a youngster to learn their hard material, to learn to keep up with. And only $9. All right, next item, 1080322. And you have not seen this parcel before. Let me show it to you. Look at this. Look at that. Look at those emeralds. Yeah, you know, these are so much more green. So there is different lighting going on. Greens are always difficult to
1080.
yep, sorry about that. Yep, 1080, 322. But this is a nice mixed jeweler's parcel. If you ever want to replace any emeralds, there are 3.5 carats here, and they, let me, also the plastic doesn't help, have a really fine green color tone to them. It's a much richer green than what I'm seeing here at the moment. And so you just have to take my word for that. It'll be better than you see it now. And for the price, well, it won't matter because the price is right. And that would be, yeah, $35, $10 a carat. $35 for all of those emeralds. I can't imagine even cutting them for that low of a price. Okay, let me keep going here as fast as I can. Oh, yep, I still have a few minutes. Okay. Ooh, goodies here. Ooh, what is that? Oh. Okay. Oh yeah, this one. Item 1080522. 1080522. Now, if you got in on the Okos last week and wish there was one more, well, I am releasing one more from my private collection of Oko geodes. These are found in only one place in the world, in one particular location in Rio Grande do Sul. You can actually look it up by looking up Oko geodes, and it's a funny name. I didn't have room even for the name of the mine. All right, as I open these up, it's like for the first time, look at these. Now, you may say that compared to the others, these aren't quite so ooh la la. Well, let's go in first on this one and look a little closer. The black is goethite. Look at the isn't this unusual? You have a large, look at how large of a quartz crystal that is right there amongst all these tiny crystals. I don't see that. That's why I kept this one from years ago, because I don't see anything like that happening in any other. Plume agate. Now that's the name. I don't know what they actually call it, but because of the agate around it reminded me so much of plume agate, that is called plume agate. I don't know what else you would call it. Oftentimes when you see the brown be underneath the quartz, it'll often be calcite crystals. Wait, there's more. Ah, look at that. This is, I guess, really probably the money side, even though that other is very unique. Those large, well-formed goethite crystals. You know, normally goethite does not form as beautifully as that. It's, you know, can be just massive, etc., and not crystalline and kind of dusty and dirty. Those are striking. Those are striking. And then look at the edge. Wonderful agate. Ah, there's another one. There's a large quartz crystal down there. Oh, another wonderful goethite up there. That's why these, you know, compared to other Okos, you can see these Okos advertised, maybe they're $8, $9, whatever they might be, but they're not going to be like that. They're not going to have that kind of quality material, or they'll be very closed up, or they won't have the goethite in large size like that, or nothing quite special about it. $28. $28 is all on that. I have a one, you know what? I just have to do this in case for Anthony's sake and anybody else's. Item 1080222. 1080222. And in case anyone was thinking, I have another parcel of incredible triplite. These I took from a high-end group of smaller pieces. And if you look at them, you can see the gemmy quality to them. Let me just put the light on them. And if that's what you're looking for, like in wow, look at that one, in triplite, then yeah, this is a parcel that you would like. You can see the clarity. Look at that. Look at that. In so many of these. And I had separated this material years ago into smaller, higher end pieces that I was going to work with and cut a lot of material from. Thank you. That was perfect. And you can see I have not done it. So what I'm doing now is selling it. This is 100 carats. 100 carats of triplite. And I don't know because I don't even see what I had written on there. Okay, but let's make it a deal of the century. 100 carats of this in that kind of quality, I know it's got to be worth $38. $38. Let me write that down on here. And if if you keep getting that kind of material in triplite, you will be one of the big triplite barons. And then when nothing else comes out of the material, and you have it, it's kind of like me and those garnets, the Japanese garnets. I mean, I'm king of the garnets now, and many of you have more than most anybody else. Let's look at. Oh yeah. Okay. As we wind down here, this next one, 1080-822. 1080-822. Yep. And since I showed you a Pakistani quartz, let me show you part of my Made in America collection, which is, where's the best quartz in the United States? Arkansas, in my opinion. And look at this. Look at this. You don't get maybe lots of other goodies with Arkansas quartz, but you sure get that clear white crystalline formation that it is so well known for. And if you collect quartz, no collection of quartz should be without at least one piece of Arkansas quartz. $18 on that. Only $18. Arkansas quartz goes for quite a bit. All right, let me see. We have, let me show maybe, oh man, so many other things I wanted to get to. It's going to have to be next week, though. This looks like it could be the last item on the show. Let me see how long it takes. Item 107-8122. 107-8122. And as I keep unwrapping this jewel, let's see what we wind up with in the end. Oh my. Oh my. I absolutely love this piece, and I cannot believe no one took advantage of it. Let's go in and show you. I must have given you the wrong item because that's certainly 107. You know, it's the 6s and the 8s. That is my fault. 107-6122. 107-6122. Look at this. Look at those pyrites, kleiner color quartz. We'll go in fluorite even. We'll have to find that. Look at these stunning formations, and you can see once you start seeing the cubic form of the pyrite, you know it's pyrite, not chalcopyrite. And then coming around the backside of this, oh, look at the gorgeous quartz. Oh my, continuing on, goodness. And wow, look at all that. Oh, look at that. And all these other crystals, you have a big calcite there. And then This is, look at that. See that shape? Some of these, yeah, I would say you need a fluorescent light. You're going to have to find the fluorites separate from the calcites. I think there's probably some fluorites that are through there and through there, but this is a classic grand specimen all the way around. Look at that, all the way around. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. It looks like there's even actually maybe some pseudomorphing going on. But what a piece, what a powerhouse, and self-displays. Price on this, I am going to discount it. It's a very affordable opportunity at $68, but if you gambled and wanted a better deal, how about this? $48. $48. You will have made a wonderful gamble and a great choice. And the last item of the show, in case you were looking for triple light, it wouldn't be fair to show it without it. 106 65, hold on, 106 6522. And I highly recommend everybody add a triple light to your collection. Even if you don't think it's all that like ooh la la, it's still one of the rarest gems having been discovered. Oh yeah, this one. How can this not have sold? Look at this. If you're talking about a piece in matrix, look at the quartz. This is going to be simply one of the best that you'll find. It has a gorgeous pink-orange color in the triplite world in a facet grade. You can see the crystalline face of the quartz itself. That really shows you that it has been formed in a really nice environment. And then you can see right up there, incredible pink with fantastic clarity. Thank you, sir. And I am going to make this just a super deal. Items like this, by the way, look at the crystalline formation. Make sure you check them for anhydros. I should have already done that on this. I did it. So look at them for moving bubble spaces. That would add a lot of value. Also, I did not check all this material down here, which could yield other additional goodies for you as well. All right, last item of the show. So let's make it a fantastic pricing opportunity for you. And let me get the bag. Okay, here we go. Let's do this. $18. Huge discount. $18. We didn't get to a lot of items. We're going to have to do it in the next show. We'll be right back with the trivia. Hey, okay, so I never get to show as many items as I want, but when we get to those items that are a little bit pricier, not only are they pricier because they have more things to talk about them, but I tend to talk about them longer because I get so excited about them. But you know, have you noticed? No, of course you noticed. I know Oz noticed. How long I'll still even talk about a $28 item. But if it's got something cool, fantastic, you know, it's not always about the money, even though, you know, as a trained live salesman for 9 years on Mondays from 3 a.m. to 9 a.m., you know, well, maybe not that show so much, but in other shows, it's show and go. You just got to, you know, show and go. The more items you get to present out there, the better chance you're going to find somebody that wants the item. In the overnight show on Mondays, though, it was a little bit slower paced crowd, and I enjoyed that aspect of it. Maybe that's why we stayed there for 9 years, because I could maybe talk a little bit longer about an item that normally I wouldn't. And the item didn't have to be a mineral or a rock, because we sold everything, all kinds of things about jewelry. But you know, or if you don't, go to the How It's Done series that Asif was really a show-saving director and cameraman through every segment. And I didn't really realize how much a director makes. Not money-wise, I better finish that sentence. How much difference a director makes in how well a piece can be edited in the end. Shawn, even spells his name as mine, been here a long time, great, nice guy. And incredible editing work on it, and incredible directing on it, because if not, this Shawn can tend to just get run away on details or on something less important than the main subject matter at hand. And Asif could always brought me back to center on that. Always knew what to start with, show the tools you're going to use first. I still know how he did it. It was like, wow. At first I had difficulty, but as we got into the shows, I got into the groove, and it made it easier to where you will be so smart by watching all 30 episodes of it. And you won't believe the knowledge you'll come away with. Plus, you'll also understand why a platinum sizing ring expense is more expensive than a gold sizing. I mean, we go into all that, and you get to see it done. All those years, for 9 years, when I did the live show, where I talked the walk and said that I can do this and I can do this at the bench, and gave you the knowledge along the way. It was nice to be able to show you that I actually could do what I said I could do all that time. And so you get to see that done. You get to see how that beautiful sapphire ring, the bicolor sapphire ring, was done, actually. And if I could have shown you how that amazing ruby ring was done, but you get an idea by watching how that sapphire piece was done. And, that ruby ring, as clean of a line that it is one of my favorite rings of all time. And I have made things extremely intricate, extremely technically difficult. I'm fidgeting with that little piece just because I'm talking about that ruby ring. And, if you want it dressed up, if you're interested in it and want it, you can just talk, to your sales rep, and I can flush set a diamond on either side, pick the size diamond. I made it so that the thickness of the platinum is there. It can, be dressed up. But there's something to be said about just the ruby and the metal without any other distractions. Now, if you wanted me to ask my opinion if there was something to add to it, on that bicolor sapphire ring, did I put diamonds on the side of it? No. I put well-cut, valuable, beautiful color blue sapphires, flush set on either side. It went with it. It didn't distract from it. And also remember, with the color of the sapphires and the incredible bicolor of, that clear stripe of clear, water clear sapphire diagonally through the blue sapphire, set in yellow gold. So the yellow metal using the blue sapphires, it didn't take away from the center. And in the same way that in the platinum, if you wanted to use some side stones, diamonds would be okay, because you have the white glitter of the diamonds against that nice shiny kind of glitter of. Besides, if you don't like the shininess also of the ruby, I'd be happy to polish off for you. I can even plate that ring 18 karat yellow gold over it, which would last quite some time, except at the very bottom of the ring. All that would be free, except if you wanted to add diamonds to it, or we can add rubies to the side. In one sense, I would say no rubies on the side, because then the eye kind of goes to that other color, and the rubies are going to stand out against the white metal, greater than the sapphires and the yellow, if you understand those things. So that's my input, in case you were wondering, which I felt vibes that someone out there might be wondering what other options there are. That's one of those situations where the minimalist portion of my brain, where it went to. It didn't go to dressing it up and doing other things to it. It was just clean lines, and it's beautiful as it is. It'd be beautiful if you just want to do something simple other than that. But remember, you can add to it at any other time if you want. But if you want to receive it like that as well, I'd be happy to. It's a very special piece. And so with that comes question number 1. How did I segue into that? Well, listen to this. How many years ago did Shawn make his ruby ring? Okay, remember, only note-taking, no rewatching the show, no rewinding. How many years ago did Shawn make his ruby ring? Question number 2. What polymorph of brookite did I mention? What polymorph of brookite did I mention? Good luck to all of you. It's so nice to feel your energy and your, kind comments. Let's get everyone back into the fold. I think some of you are still trying to figure out the new format of how to add comments, send in comments, and those of you that I know are watching but not adding your comment, just throw a comment in there, say, hey, enjoying the show, hope to see more of you or get more time, or whatever it may be. Just let me know you're out there watching. I like that, and it's a show that we incorporate your comments. If you actually want to write a comment and don't want me to mention it, then just put, hey, this is confidential, and tell me that, whatever you want to say. Yeah, and I'll take it well, good, bad, or the ugly. And great Western movie, by the way. All right, thank you all, and thank you so much for your support. And if you want that review, don't feel bad about it. You'll actually be helping out my life, and you'll be getting something really, really special in the meantime. There's only one of them like it, and there is, when I get something like that and other vendors that see so much jewelry and pieces, and they go crazy over it, and they say, wow, I'd like to have that ring. That's when I know that, my idea of creating something beautiful, one of a kind, doesn't have to involve lots of diamonds, lots of creativity, lots of ornateness. It can just be something as simple as clean, simple, striking, rare red cabochon in a ruby. I meant to show you, but again, it'll be something I need to send Asif to upload so we can show it to you right instead of through my phone. It's the largest gem quality ruby ever mined in history. They feel up to date. It was 101 carats, I believe, and they expect it to cut around a 50 carat faceted gem quality. If you look at the rough, you think, yeah, they just might get there. And to think it even might be a round, which would be especially rare. Mozambique stone, but it looks like the color very much actually of the ruby ring that I have. But due to the chronology of events, yeah, it doesn't put it, and other things, it doesn't put it as a Mosem, the one I have, Mosem ruby. Mine, that color range, pretty much only one place that it can be found. And a lot of special magic in that ring. All right. God bless all of you. If you're having troubles in life, just know that your Rock and Gem family are here to support you. The love of the really close-knit GSN community here, feel that as well. And we just hope that everything works out for you. I know just amongst our little group here that each of us are having our own struggles, from health-wise to otherwise. And I appreciate all of your support, because it's your support and people like Asa's support that has kept me able to do this show through my challenges. And we hope that you get through all of yours healthy, better off for it. And we appreciate the two-way street that we have with all of you. Can't wait to see you next Monday, because I will be here, God willing, and the creek don't rise, which for some of us and for others in Florida, bless them as well. I've been down in that area. I grew up in Sarasota. I can feel for, I've been through hurricane. And I remember, I was younger, but I remember moving from Bradenton Beach and having to go inland. And I was 7 years old, and I remember that event really well. The evacuating off the beach and the imminency of it. And to remember something from that age, it had to be something that the mind would take it seriously enough to remember at that young of an age. So, and then I was through the teenage years when we called them hurricane parties, but that's another story. See you next week. God bless.